everyone. This is Shane. Thank you for joining us on another Solve Network call. Tonight's guest expert is James Ferguson, who is a coach, mentor, and attorney. And he's going to be discussing integrative experiencing, which is how to transform your life's challenges into championship moments. And I'm really excited to hear about not only more information of what that is, but James's take. So without any further ado, welcome to the call, and thank you, James, for being here tonight.
Hey, Shane, it is great to be here, and thank you everyone for joining us on this call. My name is James Ferguson. I'm a lawyer, a psychological fitness specialist, and a wellness warrior. And what I want to share with you this evening is what I have dubbed integrative experiencing. And the message is how to transform your life's challenges into championship moments. So a little bit about me and where we're headed. We're on a path to wholeness. So the challenges of our modern experience are ones that are significant for many people, especially in this time this year, considering what's going on in the world as far as we're in an election year and we are in this kind of global reset related to the virus. So this path to wholeness addresses the challenges of our modern experience. I'll explain to you what integrative experiencing is, and we're going to go down this path with 7 steps to nervous system harmony. So I mentioned I'm a lawyer. I've been working as a trial attorney for 12 years, representing clients through some of the most difficult moments of their lives. And now I also am a trained psychological fitness specialist, and I help people transform some of their most difficult moments into their greatest breakthroughs. And thirdly, I'm a wellness warrior. My own burnout is what led me to this work. And in experiencing that, I vowed to support others in healing themselves. And so that is what brings me in front of you today. So I live in Alaska, and what that means is I like to get outside, ski, bike, hike, swim, paddleboard, all that stuff. And I've never met a dog I didn't like. So that kind of explains a little collage of photographs there. That's all the different ways to play outside in Alaska. And let's just take a look at the state of things, that is, the state of things in our world today. 1/3 of Americans now show signs of clinical anxiety or depression. That's from the Washington Post, May 26, 2020. U.S. life expectancy has declined for a 3rd year in a row, from Business Insider in November of 2019. And the average American consumes 5 times more information daily than we did 50 years ago. And we now look at screens as many as 12 hours per day, from Forbes in January of 2019. So here's what that means. All of that is common, but what's common is not normal. And the consequence is the tax that we're experiencing on our nervous system is unprecedented. And because of that, now more than ever, it's important to be able to regulate our nervous system and understand where we can protect ourselves in order to live the life that we want to live. So I encourage you to do the uncommon. How can you do that? Well, you can be a kick-ass professional, partner, and parent without getting stuck in anxiety, frustration, and overwhelm. You can have the energy, health, and vitality that you want and live a life that you love without having to quit your job or spend all day at the gym. And the fastest way to a life of happiness at home and at work is to break one habit that all professionals have. So those are the things I'm going to deliver to you in our talk this evening. The challenge is that most of us spend a significant portion of our day in a state of suffering. The statistic from the journal Science, and the authors of the article were Killingsworth and Gilbert. We spend about 47% of our day thinking about something other than what we're doing. In other words, we spend a large portion of our day absent. Quote, "A human mind is a wandering mind, and a wandering mind is an unhappy mind. The ability to think about what is not happening is a cognitive achievement that comes at an emotional cost." So these incredible brains that we have, this incredible frontal lobe that has given us the ability to plan into the future, ruminate about the past, is a tremendous organ or component of our brain, but it has arguably turned itself against us in the sense that we are now spending more time worrying about our life experience than actually living our life experience. So that brings us to the first of our 7 steps towards nervous system regulation and wholeness. The first step is understanding cognition. So when we talk about cognition, what I mean is our ability to focus, our means of perceiving, and our worldview. So most of us have been told from an early age to focus or to pay attention. But most of us have never actually been taught how to cultivate focus or how to pay attention. But the reality is, where attention goes, energy and information flows. So the ability to train our focus is arguably the number one skill of our modern era, especially considering there are so many distractions that are vying for our attention. One of the ways to cultivate focus is through the practice of meditation. Many people probably, maybe you're tired of hearing about meditation, or you feel like you've had it up to here with notions of mindfulness and meditation. But the reality is there is no better way to train focus than to practice meditation. And it doesn't have to be an hour of meditation a day. That would be quite painful for most people. Rather, you could begin with something as little as 1 minute a day or 5 minutes per day. I actually stumbled upon meditation because I was having some experience with high blood pressure. And so I bought this little home blood pressure cuff, that you put on your wrist. And I'd been using it for a while and never had bothered to read the directions. One day I read the directions and it said, "Hey, you're supposed to rest for 5 minutes before you actually take your blood pressure with this thing." So at that point, I was like, geez, if I have to sit for 5 minutes before measuring my blood pressure, I guess I could just go ahead and start meditating during that time as well. So that's how my journey into meditation began. I'd say it culminated with me completing a 10-day silent meditation retreat and now becoming a meditation teacher. I teach meditation here in Alaska, but it all began coincidentally by me tracking my blood pressure, which meditation also improved my blood pressure regulation. So I would encourage you, there are tons of free apps that you can use for meditation. You can do guided meditation. That I would say is the easiest way to begin. But meditation is arguably the most effective bang for your buck thing that you could do next to sleeping, because it improves literally everything in your life. It lifts all the boats of concern in your life. So meditation is, I can't recommend it highly enough. So there's focus, and you can cultivate that through meditation. There's also the doors of perception, with the key takeaway being you are not what you think. Most people spend their entire life having little to no separation between their thoughts and their identity, meaning whatever they are thinking, they also believe that they are. What we can discover, and one of the ways that we can do that is through meditation, is that our thoughts are only one component of our experience. They are not our identity. And arguably, the degree to which you identify with your thoughts is the degree to which you will suffer on a daily basis. Because generally speaking, the thoughts that we're thinking aren't particularly good. This is what I call our innate negativity bias. So evolution wired us very well to remember the things that bite, the plants that sting, that fire burns, the foods that give us a tummy ache. Nature wired us to remember those well. The downside is that our brain is like Velcro for negative experiences. So we overemphasize the negative and underemphasize the good. The consequence is a suffering state for many people all day, every day, or at least a lot of the day, every day. If you couple that with a news cycle that's now 24 hours, running 24 hours a day, and rarely any good news, there's a significant challenge that we're facing. I would argue that there is an epidemic of unhappiness that is driven by our innate cognitive wiring and the information to which we're exposed on a daily basis. And the only antidote to that is to take control of our cognition and establishing a distance between what we think and what we identify as is the first step in doing that. So we've got focus, we have you are not what you think, doors of perception. And then the third, which is tremendous that I think most people don't really consider, is your worldview. Albert Einstein said, the most important decision we make is whether we believe we live in a friendly or hostile universe. And it doesn't really just boil down to, is the glass half full or the glass half empty? It really boils down to the lens through which we see everything that happens in our world and in our life. And if you have and it wouldn't be a stretch, right, to think that many people might have an innately negative worldview. If you have an innately negative worldview, my invitation to you would be to begin a gratitude practice that might help you shift that. Because studies have shown, including the very well researched and documented field of positive psychology, has shown that we can shift our experience of the world by cultivating a gratitude practice, and it pays dividends that are immeasurable in terms of happiness and well-being.